In this video, we'll talk about how to partition a line segment using a given ratio. So let's begin by looking at a problem that's similar that may present in a different way. So question number 11. It says find the point, B point that is a third of the way from 6,7 to 10,14. So what you want to do is you want to figure out what is the horizontal and the vertical distance. To find the horizontal distance, you subtract the larger x-coordinate Okay, so this video will explain how you can find the partition of a line segment in a given ratio. Let's begin with question number 11. They want you to find a point or the point that is a third of the way from 6,7 to 10,14. What you have to know is you have to know what are the horizontal and vertical distances. So the horizontal distance you can find by taking the larger number, copying that first, and subtract the smaller number. So this gives you 4. And then vertical distance will be 14 minus 7 to give you 7. So we have a vertical distance. Okay, so in this video, let's talk about how to partition a line segment in a given ratio. Let's begin with question number 11. So they give you two ordered pairs. I want you to figure out the point that is a third of the way from the initial ordered pair. Let's call this A and let's call this B. So here's the idea. You have some line segment in space. Maybe it's horizontal. Let's assume it's not. And they want you to locate a point here that is 1/3 of the way from the initial point. So if you were to partition this into 3 equal parts, this being one of them, this point here is 1/3 of the way. So we're going to figure out what X and Y are to get our answer. All right, so what you want to do is you want to figure out what's the horizontal distance and the vertical distance between these 2 points. For the horizontal distance, you would just subtract the 2 x coordinates, 10 minus 6, and that gives you 4. And then for the vertical distance, you would subtract, that gives you 7. So since they say a third or 1/3 of the way, what we're going to do is we're going to take 1/3 of both of these numbers. So 1/3 of 4, that's just like saying 4 times 1/3, that gives you 4/3. Same thing with 7, 7 times 1/3, that gives you 7/3. So this number is our horizontal distance. We're going to add this number to 6, and then this is our vertical distance. We're going to add that number to 7. So the answer in its unsimplified form will be 6 plus 4/3, and then 7 plus 7/3. So do the arithmetic on that, and then we get 22/3, and then 28/3. Now let me show you a visual using these two ordered pairs. So the ordered pairs, 6, 7, 10, 14, they're, as you can see, they're up here in the left corner. And then the answer I have here, 6 plus 4/3, 7 plus 7/3. So I called that point C. And what I also did was I took the segment and I divided it into 3 equal parts so that you could appreciate that this point right here is 1/3 of the way from the initial point. And then we're done. Okay, let's try a similar problem. The same type of problem, it just will show up differently. So they give us 2 coordinates. This time, instead of saying a fraction, they give it the ratio as a odds. The thing you want to remember about a ratio written like this is if I say 4 to 5, as a fraction, I can represent this as 4 parts to 9 parts. So I just add the two numbers to get the denominator. So what this problem is basically saying is locate a point I that's on this segment GH that is basically 4/9 of the way from the initial point G. So I'm going to do the same thing that I just did with the previous problem. I want to figure out what the horizontal distance is. So the horizontal distance, I'm going to look at the x coordinates. So 11 minus 2, that gives me 9. And then for the vertical distance, let's write h for horizontal, v for vertical. I'm going to look at the y coordinates, 16 minus 7. So 16 minus 7 gives you 9. So then now you're going to take that fraction, you're going to multiply by that fraction. So when you carry out this multiplication, this is 4. And if I carry out this multiplication also, it's going to be 4. So what does that mean? What that means is we're going to go to our initial point because they said we're looking at the distance from the initial point, which is G. And I'm going to add 4 to the x and to the y coordinate. So what's that? 4 plus 2, that gives me 6. 7 plus 4, that gives me 11. And then that will be my answer. So let me draw the segment to give you a visual of what's going on. So you have G here, you have H here, and then this point is basically 4/9 of the way. So if I was to break this up into this segment up into nine equal parts, so let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so it's not going to be exactly equal. Let's try to make that better. So let's see, maybe here. All right, so use your imagination. Let's say it's equal. The point that's 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4. This point right here is 4/9 of the way from the initial point. Or I could say that this segment here represents 4 parts and this is 5 parts, which is what this ratio is saying. All right, assuming that we did the math, or I did the math correctly, then this is our answer, and then you're done. All right, so you're going to practice these problems after you do question 11, just to make sure that you're solid on this skill.